Let's go. So there's so much debate about the controversial ending to this Arkansas-Auburn game, and it was a horrible ending. It was a clear fumble, but that's not, to me, the big story. The story was Arkansas deciding to go run on an offensive possession that could have decided the game. Now, I was on the road listening to the legendary Chuck Barrett call the game on the Arkansas Learfield IMG radio network, and I was going nuts. I heard that Arkansas decided to go run after this missed field goal, and I'm not going to lie. I almost drove off into a ditch in Fordyce. Like, I was going that crazy, okay? But tape never lies. In fact, Kendall Briles called a brilliant play call, but the execution wasn't quite there. Now, some of you on YouTube know me from Power Hour LSU. I've lived in Arkansas quite a bit of my life, and I want the Arkansas Razorbacks to be great. I've had friends coach the teams. I've had friends play on the teams. But more importantly, I've done radio in Arkansas for a long time. I guess it's 5 years. I don't do radio in Arkansas anymore, but, I know so many of my friends that follow this team, and I'm in a group chat with only Arkansas fans, and, I'm going to Fayetteville for my best friend's wedding here in a few weeks. So Arkansas is a big deal to me, and it's this drive right here that honestly bothered a lot of Arkansas fans. And when you look back at it with a little bit of revisionist history, it is crazy that Felipe Franks is playing the best game of his career and you decide to go run. When Auburn still has all three of their timeouts. And in fact, on my LSU channel, I'm going to show you how coaches horribly mismanage their timeouts. Gus Malzahn, all the criticism in the world can be given to him, hiring Chad Morris, which is still a horrible decision, but this is great coaching. This is optimizing your opportunities to win. So with 3 timeouts, Arkansas can't just run the clock out. You have to get a couple of first downs to win this game. So don't be conservative. Now, before we dive into this, I do want to shout out, while this play runs at full speed, I was on the road for comedy. So please support all your venues during this time. The Joint in Argenta, the Argenta district in Little Rock, it's a beautiful area. It was a great show, a socially distanced show. So whether it's stand-up or radio or anything like that, support your creators during this difficult time. So you saw that first down play right there. And I hate runs on first down in this situation because the defense knows a run is coming. And if you're Kendall Briles, you're like, okay, I want to at least make them burn one timeout in this situation. But in this situation, a first down is more valuable than actually making them burn a timeout. But either way, this all comes down to execution. If you're the Arkansas offense and you're an Arkansas ball carrier, which in this case, let me make sure I'm saying his name right. This is Rakeem Boyd's backup, who was the Arkansas player of the game, had a great game, 21 carries, 81 yards, and I believe his name is, he's a transfer from Arizona State. Come on, Treylon Smith. And he did have a great game because he's a good receiver out of the backfield. But in this case, he makes a mistake. First down. Just hit this hole. The bounce is not there. Now, if this defensive end was inside of this, and that sounds so weird, but if he's in this gap right here, then yeah, you can bounce it. But because he wasn't, he was able to stretch this play out. And in this case, you're giving ground. He gives ground, runs into a 2-yard loss. And in fact, it was a 5-yard loss. So instead of getting a yard or no gain, because if you go back and look at the actual run, there wasn't great penetration. There, in fact, is some decent push. So even though there's no gap here, just hit this hole hard, even if you're only getting a yard. This is not a situation where you want to bounce. You want to give your offense an opportunity on second and third down to make a play, and you decide to bounce it. Now, this is not me calling him out in particular. Experience, this is his first close game. Well, Mississippi State last week, but still, a lot of running backs don't know this in college. You've got to get the yards that are given to you, especially here. So Auburn calls a timeout. And now you have second down and 15. And you see some highlights here. So if you're Auburn during this timeout, you would think, knowing that you still have 2 timeouts left, that at some point Arkansas is going to pass, particularly here when it's second down and 15. So once again, Felipe Franks having an amazing game. And I want to shout out a few Arkansas media members. Shout out to you, my homie Pinto. Shout out my boy Ty, my boy NWA Hutch. Hutch used to come on my Arkansas radio show all the time. So I want to show you why coaching really matters. And this shows you that Arkansas is doing the little things well. So take a look at this. All right? Mike Woods is doing the, hey, look, I'm in man coverage against this guy. Look for me. So this defensive back communicates that to the safety here, which is saying, hey, this looks to be a pass play since he's doing that. So you see, that communication happens. And look, he's pointing at him. So Arkansas in this situation is selling a heavy pass play. They have 1 tight end, 1 running back, receiver, 2 receivers to this side. So because it's second down and 15, Auburn is going to play soft coverage. You don't want to give up, obviously, 15 yards. You don't want them to get over the top of you. So Arkansas runs another run, but this isn't just a run. This is a draw. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play it at full speed really quickly so you could see for yourself. And let me know if you could find where the mistake was made on this play. Okay? Now let's run it back again. Now look, I'm not a football expert, okay? I learn new things every day. But I reached out to a running backs coach who coaches at the lower level ranks of college, and I asked him about this play. Let's run it back because we didn't get a replay on this. All right. So it's second down and 15. 2:30 left to go. Auburn is keying pass. This is a beautiful call by Kendall Briles. Because if you run on second and 15 and you get a good amount of yardage on this draw, this sets you up for a manageable third down throwing situation. And as you look at this play, Arkansas sells run. And they sell Felipe Franks rolling out to the left side. So look, this linebacker keys. And this is exactly what you want to do. The design of this play is to get these guys upfield and open up the middle. And watch this next frame. Boom! The play is going to perfection. Every blocker's butt is to the hole right here. Butthole, I know it sounds weird. But look. Look at this alleyway. And that running backs coach told me 12 times out of 10, you've got to hit this hole. But what happens here? Oh, my goodness. Treylon, you've played such a great game. He bounces. He sees this guy getting just a little inside, and he tries to hit the home run. Now, why is bouncing not the right move here? It's simple. If you bounce, obviously that's not where this play is designed. It's a draw up the middle. So you get the best of both worlds. The clock continues to run. You force Auburn to call another timeout, and you get a more manageable third down. In fact, I think the run on first down was a designed run to set up another draw here on second down. But because Treylon decides to bounce, boom. Now look, he makes the decision to go out here. If he just hits this hole, he's got ridiculous speed. He might be able to run through this gap. Zero did a good job fighting under this cut block. He at the very least, if he just hits it, gets to about right here, which would set up a 3rd down and 8 or 7, but he bounces. So instead of 3rd and 7, it's 3rd and 12. That is a minimum. I'm going to let you be the judge one more time. I think of Rakeem Boyd, knowing his running style, he definitely just hits the hole, but he bounces. And you got to understand time and place. Something else about bouncing to the outside, they could run you out of bounds, which stops the clock and allows you to not burn a timeout. And I hate seeing injuries. So this now sets up 3rd and long. It's 3rd and 12. This is where I actually disagree with Kendall Briles. The plays weren't run the way that they were supposed to be run, right? So, because of that, you have to make a decision. 3rd and 12. It's not a high likelihood that you're going to complete this. I still think you got to throw it here. I really do. Because with 2:23 left, Arkansas's punt team is not necessarily the best. All Auburn needs, no matter where they get the football, is about 15 to 20 yards. And, you know, I feel bad. I feel like this is me calling out one player. No, that's not. It's just understanding time and place. Especially if you're Arkansas and you're playing all these teams that out-recruit you, particularly if you're on the road, every little yard counts. Every little play matters so much. And I'm not going to lie, out of all the teams in the SEC West right now, it is without zero doubt. And you can make a case for Ole Miss even, but Arkansas has had such a huge coaching improvement. So, obviously, they decide to run this counter here, and it gets tackled. So, you got to ask yourself, if you're Kendall Briles, there's 12 yards. 12 yards. Do you think you're actually going to get the full 12 yards there? No. You do force Auburn to burn their final timeout. 2:16 left to go. That's just too much time to just concede the football back, even though you were able to burn all their timeouts. I want to go back. I want to look at the final play. Oh, here we go. The snap. We can all agree, you've seen it. It is a fumble, but I want to point out someone that I love to watch play. And I did this on Twitter. Shout out to Hutch for retweeting me. It's obviously a spike situation, but the reason why Bo Nix spiked this backwards after the fumble snap, Auburn rarely is under center. Jonathan Marshall made this play happen because I don't watch Arkansas's defense enough to know this, but he lined head up over the center. Now, why is that important? Well, you'll see here on this snap, obviously the center quarterback exchange was horrible, and it was more Bo Nix than a bad snap here. But look at what Marshall does. And on critical snaps like this, teams should always do this. Blow up the center if the game is still in reach. So because he blew this center up, Bo Nix couldn't regather, and you see it's just natural for you to jump backwards because this guy got blown up. So Jonathan Marshall deserves a lot of credit for even forcing this play, and it would have been a game-winning play. Take a look at it again. I love these little things. It's these little things, not giving up. The long review process was painful. Arkansas fans, you got screwed. But ultimately, you don't want the games to be put into the referee's hands. You guys have heard that whole old adage. But anyway, once again, shout out to all the Arkansas media that's been covering this team for a long time. Pinto, Bo, I know a lot of these guys. Baz is a good buddy. And Ty and them do a good job with hit that line, which is ironic. Arkansas should have hit that hole. But that just sounds weird. But it's really interesting. I'm happy the Battle of the Golden Boot's going to be competitive. I can't wait to be in beautiful Fayetteville, Arkansas here in a few weeks. So I'm really excited about that. So I do an LSU YouTube channel. I love covering all the SEC teams. So yeah, I just love looking at the little things. It's these little things that matter and understanding time, place, and situation. And Arkansas actually ran into a bad situation here because I'm actually doing a video on my LSU channel. Both LSU and Florida horribly mismanaged their second half timeouts. It ultimately ended up costing both of those schools. So this is a perfect example of saving your second half timeouts in close games just to preserving clock situations. So all of that is very important. Also, and this is key, this game further proved, Arkansas is very fortunate they don't have Chad Morris as their coach anymore. I've already shared my disdain for Chad Morris. I don't feel bad when multimillionaire head coaches or coaches in general don't do their jobs well. You're getting a 7-figure salary to do this job well. There are plenty of people that could do this job well. But yeah, I mean, this call just really pissed me off. Boom! Bum, 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 bum. Kind of feeling some lemon pepper chicken wings. Let's get to it. Chicken wings! Chicken wings!